Hello, I'm Michael Sisco with Prytaneum Times. I can't stop laughing because we're at the Straight Pride Parade. It's great, but we're just here to observe and see clowns fight for clown rights and let everyone know that there's only two genders.
Clown lives matter! Clown lives matter! Clown lives matter! Can I get a straight pride? Everyone here is a stupid fucking deplorable. Fuck your flag. Fuck America. Fuck all of you racist fucking Nazis. This is the worst fucking parade. Dude, fuck all of you guys.
Everybody witnessed mental illness.
Hey, fuck all
Everybody witnessed mental illness. This is an example of mental illness right here.
He's shaking. He's shaking.
This is an example of mental illness.
You fucking Trump supporters. Let's fucking go.
Mental illness.
Fuck you. No, I don't want to have a fucking conversation. Do something about it. Fuck
mental illness.
Why don't you have a conversation?
Dude,
all right, we
President Trump.
We got some American patriots. That's what you do. Pretty fucking pissed. No, we're not. Got a circle around me. Got a circle around me. Fuck all of you guys. It's hate. Hey, buddy. Deplorables. I don't want to march with you. Hey, buddy. Donald Trump. Why do you say F Donald Trump? I step on the flag. Why do you step on the flag?
Are you a Marxist?
I'm not trying to make you nervous, man. I'm trying to ask you legitimate questions. This is bad. So, like,
We're not going to stomp him out if he stomps on the flag. I mean, he may infiltrate, he may not like this parade, but we're not Antifa. We don't stomp people out. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to have dialogue. We're here to allow everybody to have their say. They have parades every freaking minute of the day that they can. But, you know, they get all bent out of shape after a bunch of people want to have a straight pride parade. We don't need to be violent to him because he disagrees. We need to understand why he disagrees so we can maybe talk with him and then understand where he's coming from and why he feels what he feels.
We are the pro-creators of this great world, and LGBT would not be a thing without us straight people. So we deserve to be on the acronym, don't you think?
The most important thing about these demonstrations is demonstrating humor, because people will always be more sympathetic to the humorous side that isn't taking everything so seriously. Since we've been here, we weren't even in here. We've already been spit on, called idiots and Nazis, and we didn't even do anything.
There was a guy going around in a wheelchair who called us Nazis. There was a hipster-looking guy who spat on the floor as we walked past, and who was the other guy?
The other guy, we didn't even see him. We just walked past and just heard idiots, and then we're just like, yes, we are, sir.
We are.
Well, I know a lot of people will like talk about optics and stuff, and some may say Kekistan, not the best optics.
But in the end, the purpose of Kekistan is just, it's a joke. Don't take it so seriously.
Absolutely.
So would you say the purpose is to kind of spread the Overton window a little bit?
Yeah, it's like this entire event doesn't matter, but for some reason they still hate us for doing it.
Yeah. And it's also solidarity, I think. That's a part of it as well. You know, it's good to come here and, like, you know, see like-minded people who are also, you know, engaging in the meme, you know.
My name is John Medler. I was essentially the face of the second Boston Free Speech Rally in August 2017, the one that got surrounded by 45,000 people. So I've been involved in activism here and around Boston for Constitution, civil liberties, that kind of thing. And I decided to come out here and join this because it just seemed like a fun time.
Okay, so you were here in 2017. I was watching on the news. It looked a little crazy. Do you expect it to get like that today? And if so, what do you think is the, I guess, the benefit to that strategy?
Well, the reason it got so crazy in August of 2017 was, unfortunately, just the timing happened to be that was the week after Charlottesville. And so the media picked up on that and tried to hype us up to be Charlottesville 2.0, just for the bait, just for the clicks. And they call us all sorts of nasty names like Nazis and white supremacists, stuff that's totally untrue. If you see any footage of the actual rally that we have inside the bandstand, which is up on YouTube, it's all about love and inclusiveness from a constitutionalist point of view. And we had people there from all over the political spectrum: progressives, liberals, libertarians, conservatives, and basically, so the hype of of the media, particularly the mainstream media and corporate media, buying into the far leftist narrative was just to hype things up so they could make a drama out of it, and it put a lot of people in danger. But I don't think, even though they've tried to do the same thing, I just don't think it has the same weight behind it now. For a lot of people are just used to it at this point about the media saying things about people. Secondly, you're not going to have. Secondly, there's been no other like Charlottesville or anything like that recently. Thank goodness, because that was just a complete disaster for everything involved.
You mentioned the media kind of buying into it. Do you think it's more them buying in or collaborating?
Oh, there's definitely collaboration. Like this is a community. Like the mainstream journalists are all a community of people. They all hang out together. They all go to the same like social parties and stuff like that, the same hangouts. So they definitely, even if it's not a conspiracy, they do still like collaborate just because they're part of the same bubble.
All right, hello, Shark Guy. I'm Michael Sisco.
Hi.
Nice fins there.
Shake my fin.
With Prytaneum Times.
Cool.
So obviously you're one of the more entertaining folks here.
I guess.
What are you hoping to achieve by this?
Oh, nothing. I just show up for the ride. They're gonna ride. Oh, no, wait. There'll be arrest on the other side. They already set up a bail fund. There are a bunch of spoiled kids and a bunch of old people that forgot what gender they are. So there's just gonna be like, maybe like 5 to 6 arrests on their side.
Who is they?
The Antifa and crazy people opposition.
Okay. Who's their? Do you know anything about their legal fund and who they are?
Yeah, it's the National Lawyers Guild, which is George Soros funded. The National Lawyers Guild completely bankrolls all their legal activities. So when they go to jail, they're immediately out the same day, and they usually get plea bargains. I had a friend, Samson, who's a lead speaker here today. He's from Amesbury, Massachusetts. He was running for Congress a couple years ago. He got assaulted last year in in Providence, Rhode Island, and the guy pretty much isn't getting charged because the state of Rhode Island doesn't think it's worth it when he got assaulted from behind by Antifa. So it's pretty dangerous, and I'm glad the police are here.
Do you think there's any sort of, like at least within our legal framework, a bias towards in their favor?
Oh, definitely. Just look what happened to like Proud Boys kind of stuff. They always get in like fights with Antifa, and it's just normally what would normally be a basic bar brawl, just an in and out of court. Instead, it's been completely politicized. Lawyers and judges are completely vexed by it, and police officers.
My name is Claire Spardolosi. It's very nice to meet you. What's your name?
Good to meet you, Claire. I'm Michael Sisco with Prytaneum Times. Well, I think it's funny, which I think is kind of the point. I think that the gist that I get from talking to people here really is less of a reaction against, I guess, the homosexual agenda and whatnot, and more of a reaction against, I guess, political correctness and overreaction. So I think they really just want to display the absurdity of the reaction from the other side, like the overreaction. So I know you just mentioned that you're not straight, your boyfriend's straight. What interests you about this, and what are your thoughts on it?
What interests me is obviously the parade itself, the story, because I work for a newspaper, and I thought this is true news. This needs to be reported on, no matter what. Whether you're gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, it doesn't matter. This is news, and it needs to be shown. Completely unbiased.
So do you feel, I guess from the premise of the event, do you feel attacked in any way, or does it offend you?
Not really, but I think people don't realize what. So in high school, I was severely bullied for being bisexual. When I had a girlfriend, I was called a dyke. I was called horrible things. I was told I was going to hell. Any name in the book that you can. This is gonna get real. I almost killed myself because of the bullying. But once I started dating a man, all that switched. So that's where I come from. Is people say oh, the gay people they have their rights, they have marriage, but the bullying is still in place.
So what do you think is the line between free speech, freedom of expressing opinions on it, at least from a moral or religious perspective, and what's the line between that and bullying?
The line is you don't tell people you're going to hell. You say this is what I think. Hate speech is different from free speech, and though the Constitution and the Supreme Court do allow hate speech in a way, but it is illegal to say anything that incites violence or any attacks.
I think the distinction would be, at least someone from the right who's a free speech advocate might even argue hate speech doesn't exist. So that line between the legality there. So for instance, stating that, being in a movie theater, right? A crowded, packed movie theater, and screaming fire when there is one, when there isn't one, that could cause injury. from like a mass panic, right?
That could be illegal.
So that's I think, at least that's my understanding of that law. So are you saying that like just expressing an opinion that just enrages somebody, is that hate speech?
No.
Okay.
I think if someone tells me I don't agree with you, I'm fine. Like, if someone says, but the minute someone says I want to take away your rights, which no one is really saying here, I find it's like calm and like pretty much collected from what I gather from an overview, but there are very militant people, I find, also here from what I've been talking to. And yeah, there's both sides, both spectrums of all lengths.
There's generally a visceral, violent reaction that kind of counters events like this. Do you sympathize with that at all? Do you understand it?
I understand it, but I think that people should be understanding of the other side. But again, I understand the other side's viewpoint because I am more part of that community.
That's fair. Thank you.
Of course, thank you, Michael.
What's interesting about what she said about what was her name, Claire? What Claire was saying, and you know, my experience in high school. I mean, she said that she went to a Catholic high school, so obviously it's going to be different than a public high school. But I graduated in '97, and at that time, you know, anyone that was gay or queer in my school, you were seen as like the cool hip kid. And you know, I mean, I was picked on a lot in school and bullied, but not because of my sexual orientation. But really, that pushback that I got in school kind of galvanized my character and my personality and made me stronger, and it gave me the courage to withstand people, you know, being rude assholes.
Right over here.